First, Dallas did nothing wrong, and I know that everyone hates them, but we get just screwed by the rules every game, even rules that just haven't been called for decades. They just show up in playoff games sometimes, even for us. And I have no sympathy. This hat is so old, it just doesn't even, there's like no elasticity in it. And it just doesn't fit like on my head anymore. It just kind of lays there. It's all good. You can see the structural integrity has really stayed. Yeah.
It's okay. It's a little faded.
that
Is this faded enough for you?
that looks brand new, like it hasn't even seen the field. How you doing,
Yeah.
man?
Pretty good. A little bit better now that we're midweek. Asked me that 2 days ago.
To be a fly on the wall in Andy's place.
I think there's only like just one broken window after this week.
I'm sure that you were screaming. The first
Yeah.
half was so good,
And
and then it
it's
was just trash the second half.
and to rub it in your game like the night before, I come home super late, because I'm just
Yeah.
excited just to watch that game in general. I didn't
Uh,
really know what team to really root for, just given the fact that, we're all vying for that second spot. Yeah, that game
did
was
not see
crazy.
that. I didn't think we'd be able to take it over. I thought no matter what, you guys were gonna have us, but I guess losing that NFC game really is what.
The Seahawks game too really hurt.
Yeah, God, I can't believe that they could play that game another 10 times, and probably the Eagles win 10 out of 10 times.
Seriously. Yeah, welcome to the Schlabcast, everyone. We're on week 18. This is Andy. I'm here with Caleb.
What's up, everybody?
Well, let's just dive right into that game. Do you want to start?
Sure. First, Dallas did nothing wrong, and I know that everyone hates them, but we get just screwed by the rules every game, even rules that just haven't been called for decades. They just show up in playoff games sometimes, even for us. And I have no sympathy. The Lions tried to outsmart the Cowboys as much as they could, and they outsmarted or just kind of tricked the refs in the long run and just made it way too complicated. And for the Lions fans to say, oh, well, they told them before the game what the play and stuff was going to be. You think those guys remember, like, just out of all the other trick plays and shit you told them, like, they're going to remember that one thing at the very end of the game, like 4 hours later? It's just ridiculous. So I think they could have just kicked the PAT. There was an uncalled tripping call that went the wrong way. Even on Dak's interception, there was a guy was just completely offsides. So I think Dak might have thrown that thinking that he had a free play. But whatever. It was just a sloppy game, and Brad Allen's a terrible, terrible ref. So I'm surprised they're even giving him a playoff game, but it sounds like they are.
I think you guys are 8-0 at home this year.
Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
first gone ain't no since I want to say like 2005 is what I said. It might be even longer than that, but
Initially, regardless of what team you're rooting it for, I feel like in that moment I was just like I wanted it to count just because I thought it was just such an amazing play.
yeah,
Like
so
it's just so like
three balls.
ridiculous, and how the momentum was turning. I was like I almost wanted it to count, but then looking back at it now, and I saw somebody like go more into detail, like you said, it looked like Lions were trying to out trick the Cowboys, and they out tricked the refs in the
Yeah, they
process
straight
too.
confused them. Yeah.
They tried to bring over like Decker with Penei Sewell kind of like being blocked and then run over the other guy.
Well,
Um
70 was an eligible receiver at some other point in the game. The new guy that's running on is the one. And apparently, what's his name? Decker, 68. Apparently, he never even said that he was reporting as eligible. He just walked over there. And
yeah,
there's just a lot of stuff that is the Lions' fault. It is not Dallas's fault that the refs are atrocious and made a terrible call against the Lions again.
if you actually look at it when they close up, it actually does look like he's like nodding at 70. For whatever
Yeah.
reason, he's not acknowledging the other one. So regardless,
And you
yeah,
can
it's
announce 70 too.
yeah,
So
it's
the
just
Lions should have corrected that. Campbell shouldn't have gone for it on like 4th and 6 or something. It was kind of crazy to do that too, like in the second quarter.
Cowboys, like it was a win, but it was like a close reminder just to stay on point. That's all.
Oh yeah.
So
CD shouldn't have fumbled on the one. It should have just been done then. I mean, and then in the Miami game the week before that, that could have been a win. And this game doesn't have that same type of, pull to it because we fumble on the one with our fullback. So stop fumbling on the one, and these games would just be already decided. We wouldn't be coming down to this. So I think it was written in the NFC lore books in 2000 that there will never be a repeat division winner again for a millennium. So we will don't bet on Dallas to win the division next year, I guess. They still got to win Sunday, but I think they're going to take care of business.
Let's go Commanders.
okay.
Jesus Christ.
We can go to my game now,
Yeah,
I guess. So they started off really hot, like you were saying earlier. Yeah, I think at one point it was like 21-6, and you think you just put this on cruise control, and then slowly but surely they just let the Cardinals back in. I think one crazy stat I heard is the Cardinals didn't have one single punt the entire game
Oh,
for,
nice.
for a
There's
team
been
that
a lot of
was,
games like that this year.
but for a team that has like one of the worst offenses, you know.
Yeah.
And then it was at home in Philly, so it was all bad. One optimistic note, later this week I kind of like heard more interviews and AJ Brown gave some more details and like it seems to be more of an accountability thing. Nick Sirianni hasn't lost the locker room. That's good to hear.
They got to pull themselves together. And I mean, I was saying it earlier in the year, all these one possession wins and stuff, they're just pulling out right at the end of the game and stuff. That's going to dry up pretty quick. And it took a long time to get there. But if you kind of just space these losses out more with some of those just really close wins during September and October, it kind of makes a little more sense for the Eagles be at this record, I think, when you look at the full season schedule and strengths and all that. And it is a little surprising that they've gone 1-4. I want to say at one point they were like minus 600 to win the division, which is just like that team's winning it. That there's got to be like so many things go wrong for them, other things go right for another team and whatnot. And for a moment there, it looked like we were both just trying to lose the division to each other because we'd lose and then you'd lose the game and then you guys would lose and then we just lose ours and couldn't just hold it down. And again, really don't want that to happen again this Sunday. Last year we didn't have like a super meaningful game, but we got whipped by Washington like 21-6, and that was a better Washington team. But I'm looking at their play-by-play, and the only real down possession the Cardinals had was that pick six.
Yeah, which is crazy too, because they said some like statistic on teams with a pick six, like winning percentage goes up by so much,
Yeah.
and we still lose. So just ridiculous.
Let's see. They scored on every possession except that one. Ton of touchdowns and two field goals. Let him score 29 points in the second half compared to 6 in the first. That's just outrageous. Can't believe that. And I was playing golf with Jason, and it just started getting a little crazier and crazier, especially the second touchdown in the I think it was the third quarter. I started really tuning in because I only had Red Zone on, but then I just started watching Philly specifically. But did you see what Jerry said
on the Eagles?
Yeah, just like his quote about it.
No, I didn't.
It was like the most old man thing. He said, it's so thrilling to no end, or like this is the most exciting day to no end, or just like this like old man, but like got his like little boy adrenaline going and stuff.
No, it's funny. No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he always does like a radio half hour or something on like Mondays or Tuesdays, and that was a part of this past ones this week. But anyway, yeah, let's keep going. We got so much going on this week. I do want to say, since I got up too, pick 'em. We haven't talked too much about our own little just Schlabcast pick 'em, but going into week 18, it's close. Tied for second is Andy and Caleb. We are tied 161 and 95 overall, which is pretty solid. I should see what the percentage is on that. And then Jeff's beaten us by 4 games, 165 and 91. You'd think from like a week to week thing, 4 games is a lot to make up, but this week it's pretty crazy with all the sitters and even games like LA, the Rams, and the Niners, like everybody's sitting. Let's see from last week.
Or we can just fly through them.
Let me just scan these real quick. I'm surprised the Bucks got just blown out.
Oh yeah, by the Saints at home. Yeah, I didn't expect that.
And I don't think they're amazing or great or anything like that, but Green Bay has been playing a little bit better. Maybe Jordan Love sticks around a lot longer than I thought he was going to at the beginning of the year, but that was a pretty good win over Minnesota for them, at least to have a shot to make it in the postseason here. So we'll see.
How about what I thought was going to be a good game, what I actually thought was going to be an upset, but Ravens Dolphins,
Mm-hmm.
56
Yeah.
to 19 Ravens. I actually thought the Dolphins had a chance.
I thought the Dolphins were gonna show up and be competitive, and nope, not the case. But if they would have lost to the Cowboys, they would just be talked about just this team that's just spiraling out of control, you know? And I'm still picking them to win this week though against Buffalo. Because I just really want Buffalo out. And I love the second seed or nothing. That's awesome.
That is pretty crazy how that's their like options.
It really is. I wouldn't even call the like AFC like a super strong conference or anything, but somehow they got a bunch of just double digit wildcard teams, like the Browns.
Steelers over the Seahawks, 30 to 23. There's like this Mason Rudolph Steelers comeback season coming. What is going on? Mike Tomlin never had a under 500 season in his career, so that's a pretty impressive.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think Mason's starting Sunday too. He's just going to keep rolling with him, which why wouldn't you?
Jeff's Texans 26 to 3.
I saw that coming. As soon as CJ was going to be starting, they're just so much better. And Tennessee is such a mess, and Tannehill's playing. And I mean, really, this week might be the last, week we see Derrick Henry in a Titans uniform.
For real. They thought that he might have been traded this year, so yeah, definitely agree.
Which we could. I mean, this offseason we'll probably have a bunch of just where's he going, but
I would still take him, but I think he is hitting that
he's a little
age. Yeah. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this game. I know if Jeff's watching, he would love me if I mentioned this game. Bears, Falcons. Falcons getting absolutely smashed by the Bears, 37 to 17.
Dude, I didn't even realize I had a Falcons to not make the playoffs ticket. I thought they got eliminated last week, but apparently there's like a 3% chance they get in.
I actually want them to get in just for the fact that if we were getting the 5 seed, they would host us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you guys are sitting pretty. If I'm the Eagles, I don't want to play the Bucks, but Saints or Falcons, sure, why not? Especially with your secondary kind of torn up. Tampa Bay's the only one really that can throw consistently, I would say. But
I was just looking at the stats. Oh yeah, Kyle Pitts when it gets his stat line against the Bears.
What is it?
1 catch for 5 yards.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, am I crazy to think that Kyle Pitts should be like some other skill position? Make him a receiver who's a red zone threat that just does the fade, outside. Why? He's pretty quick. Why not run him up the middle? Why not just give him the ball and just run his big ass up there?
Jeff and I have talked about this thousands of times. It's not even that. It's that they won't even just throw to him.
Yeah, I guess well, Ritter has a good deep ball. I never thought he just had great touch. Like his top receivers really were Trey Tucker and Alec Pierce, who are deep threats. But Arthur Smith also, how can you trust him?
I mean, this guy was drafted number 4 overall, ahead of Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle,
Yikes.
Micah Parsons. Yeah. Like, and you don't use him.
I don't know what's going through their head. It's not like you have other receivers that are just killing it.
Hashtag fire Arthur Smith.
Yeah. Even I was listening to NFL Network, and like even the commentators there are just like, and Arthur Smith, this bozo of a coach, and they're just like shit talking him, just like straight up. It's awesome. You got to like almost bet him to be first coach fired on Black Monday.
You'd think, but right now from what I've read, it seems like his job is safe regardless.
Why? For doing what?
Because they're like he has a chance to win the NFC
and coach that team just as well. Shit. Yikes. Where are they sitting draft wise too? Like they can't have like an amazing pick. They got to be like the 14th pick right now or something. No, the 9th. Okay. Well, they could really fuck themselves, especially going into the playoffs. I don't know why they would do that to themselves.
Yeah, and there's rumors that say they're interested in Justin Fields if the Bears go quarterback for their draft pick.
I don't know. That's interesting though.
Any other games? I didn't see this game, but Raiders lose by 3 to the Colts. Looks like Colts, they got the Texans, so that's playing game for them.
That's kind of the playing. Yeah, that's why they gave it to him on Saturday. Which did you see what time Jeff is leaving Saturday to fly out to Kauai?
No, what time?
3:30.
Right at that time.
And I think that kickoff is 5:15. So he was like, "Yeah, got to get Wi-Fi on the plane." I'm super pissed.
Yeah, it's essentially like playoffs start next week for Jeff.
Like, I mean, he didn't know, months ago buying this ticket that there's going to be a Saturday fucking Texans game, but oh well.
Rams 1 point over the Giants, 26-25.
That was a big
Rams.
one for them. And the Giants, I mean, it was a horrific kick, but they did have a shot to win it at the end. I don't know. A lot of analysts are saying the Rams should be like, the scary team that you really should look out for to make a run in the playoffs. And that's the only one that can give San Francisco a tough time out of everyone's going in. They are terrible on defense. They are not set anywhere outside of Aaron Donald just, stopping, getting a big third down play every now and then. They are bad. Not bad on offense. Like they can put up some numbers, but it's tough if they just can never get the defense off the field.
As an Eagles fan, though, I would be a little worried to play them because of their offense.
I hope they get the 6th seed because I want them to play Detroit first.
I would like that. I think a lot of people would like that for Stafford reunion.
Yeah, I don't really care who the Cowboys play. They've pretty much played everyone that's in the playoffs on the NFC side already. Anyway, you want to go into some of these other notes?
Yeah, we can go into some other notes. Oh, just one more game can maybe just lead into that. Jacksonville Jaguars 26-0 against the Panthers. Just Panthers laying a goose egg. I was wrong about Bryce Young. Obviously, there is plenty of issues. I mean, they fired their head coach mid-season. Their offensive line is like ranked last, so that doesn't help anybody. They really have no weapons on offense. You have Adam Thielen and Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard, but
He's
still
small too.
Especially when you see CJ Stroud's year. And then I just wanted to mention, speaking of the Panthers, so their owner, David Tepper, fined 300,000. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah.
But he was fined 300,000 for throwing a drink at a fan, a Jaguars fan, I think it was, that was heckling him.
Yeah, that guy's worth literally billions, like not just like a couple billion, like 20 billion. And someone did the math, and 300,000 is like 0.00000001 of that guy's wealth. So I don't think he really gave a shit about paying that fine over, and he'll throw a drink again.
It's expensive
That's
drink.
him.
Someone will have to fact check me, but apparently he's the owner of a bunch of other like soccer and or hockey teams too. And then he's also have a history of like firing them as well on the books for like 4 or 5 of the coaches. So he just has a history of this. Wants results instantly. You want to mention something else?
So I was looking at actually I was listening to them reveal the roster on NFL Live or something yesterday, but Jalen Hurts got absolutely snubbed for a Pro Bowl spot. And I think it's Purdy, Prescott, Stafford. And I really don't think Purdy is an all pro. You can put like 10 other dudes right on the San Francisco team and that are, not amazing quarterbacks, and they're going to perform just as well. And then Matt Stafford's had like a good second half to the year, but Jalen has like 15 rushing touchdowns or something, or like 17, which I know a bunch of them are just getting pushed over the line, but he's got to set them up for all those scores and everything anyway. He's just had like an insane year, and I thought he was the major snub out of everyone. And that's coming from a guy wearing a 69 Cowboys jersey right now.
Well, I was just gonna say I applaud you for saying that, because it was even crazier. I can't even believe that I'm saying this, but not that I necessarily disagree, but when I saw it, I wasn't angry that he didn't get it or that I felt like he was actually snubbed. I think he's had a good year, not a great year. And I think maybe just this recent 1-4 that's gotten me more on this negative side, but I feel like he can be better. I appreciate that, but I wasn't too upset, I guess, with Stafford.
There were quite a few Eagles on that team, though. Pro Bowl rosters.
Yeah, actually, I wish more. His time is coming, but I would actually wish for Devontae Smith, because I really think he is deserving. Every year he's had 1,000 yards so far.
So we got AJ Brown, Lane Johnson, just two obviously. Kelsey, Landon Dickerson, and
he's
Son Reddick.
Yeah, more for a name.
Smith. Those are probably some of those are reserves too.
Yeah.
But that's first one for DeAndre. He had a great year.
Yeah. I was actually a little surprised that Swift got it too, to be honest.
Well, probably as a reserve, it makes sense. It's such a, dry.
Reserve, yeah. But yeah, I wish Devontae, but he's always going to be slightly overshadowed by AJ. I didn't see any other snubs. Do you have any other ones? Or AFC side or anything else?
AFC all kind of made a lot of sense, in my opinion.
Is this going to be a game, or is this going to be one of those, like, you know how they had those bunch of skill games last
I
time?
think it is a game
Like an
too.
actual, okay.
Eli and Peyton are like the head coaches. DeMarcus Ware and Ray Lewis are the defensive coaches. Which
Okay.
side? I don't know. I
Okay.
never watched it anyway.
Yeah, you hope your players
Yeah.
aren't
So,
playing.
Russ getting benched by the Broncos over a bunch of money. It sounds like he knew that was coming. Like that was always the plan for this year. I don't know why they do that, especially when they were only a game behind Kansas City. They like took all the wind out of their own sails.
Yeah, they're just riding him and with the chance of playoffs, and as soon as they don't, snatch him up. You're done. But it'll be interesting to see where he goes. Some people say Minnesota or Steelers possibly, but there will be no more Let's Ride next year. I don't know if you saw any of the college games, like the Rose Bowl or anything like that, but
Yeah,
Michigan with that, I don't know if you call it an upset because they're number one, but over Alabama looking pretty impressive.
it was sweet.
Any thoughts on Jim Harbaugh? You think he might head to the NFL after this?
I mean, I thought he was awesome when he was the Niners coach, and it just came down to the front office not agreeing with him. He's obviously like one of the best football minds there is around. And I mean, he went to a Super Bowl when he was in the league for just a couple years. He had one of the best defenses. They would draft just incredibly well. And really, he just got beat by a different Harbaugh. So it's not like he was out coached by someone else. It was family ties doing it to him. So I don't know where exactly he'd go. I think that fit would have to be like really good and make sense right away. I don't see him taking over like Washington or Carolina, some of these other teams that are probably going to be coach shopping after this season. So he's just killing it in Michigan. I think they're going to be a top 4 or 5 ranked team going into next season too. So unless he's just getting paid an outrageous amount of money and is given all this power in the front office too, like why would you even want to leave?
I mean, obviously he's kind of turned it around. The program at Michigan for a little while early on, it looked a little shaky, but past few years he's really turned it around. I think given like those allegations early on with the spying or whatever, the cheating, I think there is going to be a possibility where he kind of has like this exit, kind of like a Pete Carroll a little bit, leaving USC, possibly with Michigan getting some penalties or punishment, and then him moving on to the NFL. Some people have him linked to Las Vegas Raiders, but I mean, given their time now with Antonio Pierce, it looks like a lot of the players have already bonded with him a lot. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the Chicago Bears, so they are locked in with the number one pick because they traded with the Panthers. Just right now, if you had to say, recording this on January 4th, would you take Justin Fields or the field of
I
quarterbacks?
would probably take Justin Fields. I don't really like too many of the quarterbacks coming in this year. I know Caleb Williams is probably going to be the first one picked, and then maybe the Carolina guy or Penix or something, but I don't think any of them are all that good. So I would just stick with Fields. He's kind of turned the corner over the past month. And if he beats Green Bay in Lambeau and kicks them out of the playoffs, he's going to be just like a little bit of a legend. So I think that just served the Bears well to have him around just for the fans and everything, too. It's nice for them having the first and like 10th pick. So we'll see what they end up doing there. But I would keep Fields.
Yeah, I agree. If you asked me earlier in the year, I probably would have said no, but he has shown progression. And I've watched him a lot because I did have him in fantasy, so I can't say I've watched him. When he has time and everything, he looks impressive, and obviously he can run. I'd say second to Lamar in like athleticism and running abilities. So I think you give him some weapons, protect him, he can do some damage. So I would say I would take Justin Fields right now.
Anyway, La'el Collins was signed to the Cowboys practice squad. Not that that's like game changing or moving the pieces or anything too big, but him and Dak have like a really good relationship. I think they might have done this now too, just so they can have him for next year, rather than wait until the off season. So it sounds like La'el's coming back. That's fun.
I never understood why he left or why he was even like a free agent or whatever to begin with. Like when I first saw him like as a rookie, he was like a bulldozer. I
So he
remember
was
him
that
just
guy that fell out of the draft, if you remember. He was supposed to be like a first round pick, but then that stuff came up with like a girlfriend or something, and it was all these things, and teams just got away from him completely and he went undrafted. But he's from like the Dallas area or had some kind of ties to Dallas. So Jerry like reached out right after the third round or something and said, like, don't talk to anyone else. You're coming over with us. We're gonna make this stuff happen and everything. And yeah, we stole him completely. He should have been a like top 20 pick.
Yeah, and when he's like lead blocking and running, he's like a tank.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen him truck a bunch of people, so
Hopefully, he's still got that first step, but he might not even play a snap in the playoffs. But he's back. More than anything, right now, I'm a little more worried about like Terrence Steele and Tyler Smith. So if we can get Leal just over playing maybe left guard to give guys rest or something, I'd be cool with that. Anyway, and then Dalvin Cook looks like he's going to the Ravens. I don't know if you saw that, but that kind of happened late in the day.
kind of makes sense there.
Yeah, I
Given
figured
their
it was,
backfield.
it's either going to be him or Dallas, in my opinion, if he was going to sign.
We'll see if he has anything left in the tank, but I mean, it can't hurt them at this point.
Yeah, for real. It's just we have this guy. He's a proven commodity. And if we need a guy to just make a really smart football decision on, this last series right here, we're just going to play him, a nice little insurance policy to have. I think that's pretty good. I covered all my stuff. I was absolutely losing my mind at the end of the Eagles game on a golf course, just pounding the top of the golf cart, and Jason had no idea why. Hopefully we got a great week of football coming up here too.
Go Birds.
Sure.
And
Go
Commanders.
Birds. Nah, not that. We'll say go Birds. You guys just trounce the Giants for us, okay? All right. For Andy, I'm Caleb. And for Jeff, wherever he is, the Schlabcast. We hope to see you guys again soon. And go Birds, fine, and go Cowboys.
Shaba.
Shaba.